So let me outline why Australia is an excellent example against which to benchmark what success looks like for an effective system. The disaster that prompted action was the loss of 173 Victorians in one afternoon on the 7th of February 2009. This was due to bushfires that spread across a large part of the state. Two of the critical drivers for change that then brought about the rapid implementation of a national public warning system were first, a successful claim for compensation for $794 million. That's about the equivalent of 600 million euros, which was a claim against the state government because of the communities most affected had a perception that the emergency services had failed in their duty to warn them. And second, there was a Royal Commission of Public Inquiry that recommended implementation of a fully inclusive mobile telephony-based public warning system nationwide. Now, Australia already had an address-based system, but that excluded anyone while traveling and anyone visiting the country from overseas. In 2011, that task became the responsibility of my office, and building from scratch, it took us 14 months to implement the location-based solution using SMS as the alerting channel. Today, this is an out-of-the-box solution that can be implemented perhaps within 30 days. Back in 2011, for us, it was all new innovation, time, and cost. Since 2012, emergency services organisations across Australia have used the system more than 1,500 times to send in excess of 15 million alerts by SMS. Overall, that means the average size of each campaign is some 10,000 mobile phone users. Often, it's no more than 5,000. Now, that's because the operational procedure is to warn only those closest to the danger for whom the alert is most relevant. The system reaches all mobiles at a speed of not less than 500 SMS per second. Very often, it's in excess of 2,000. As SMS is universal to every mobile handset and network, we could reach the vast majority in every emergency in no more than 20 seconds. Consequently, I am proud to say, as part of my legacy from the 2009 disaster, is that no lives have been lost in Australia since due to a failure to warn. Now, in addition, many states and territories in Australia, there are 8, have implemented their own statewide apps. In Victoria, my own office invested $2.5 million in Vic Emergency for residents and visitors to register. All the state's emergency services organisations utilise this app to warn and inform the population about emergencies of any scale, except crimes, in Victoria that will threaten life or disrupt livelihoods. This also includes simultaneous broadcasts of the alerts sent via the National Emergency Alert System. You register your own watch zones and radius for where you want to be kept informed of localized emergencies, and you will then receive alerts at the same time as the emergency services dispatch their resources in response to the first 000 112 call. You'll receive updates too until the emergency services declare the incident as safe. It's perhaps a different approach to how an app is envisaged by Article 110, but it's highly effective as a complementary public warning and information system for all types of localized emergency. Of course, the real challenge, though, for app-based public warning systems to overcome is getting the vast majority of the population and international visitors to the country to download the app. In Victoria, it's still only around 25% of citizens in that state. As I mentioned, on June 12, BEREC published its guidelines. The executive summary on page 3 outlines BEREC's recommended steps for benchmarking effectiveness. May I say that they are not complete. It's not just about the technology. That is really just the enabler. Effectiveness is measured against 3 critical success benchmarks. First, that you are satisfying the government's legal duty to warn the population in times of imminent or actual major emergency, which is more than just having the technology. The technology is just the enabler to help government exercise its duty of care. Second, it's meeting the community's public safety expectations that the relevant competent authority will provide us with the information we need to make the right decisions about our safety. And third, critically, it's fulfilling the operational and functional requirements of the users, the competent authorities entrusted with protecting the public from harm. These set the scenario-based benchmarks against which to evaluate and assess whether individually and collectively the available technologies can be effective at saving life. As we demonstrated in our 2019 European workshops, this approach to benchmarking effectiveness ahead of procuring any technology assures that you are getting it right first time. Now, I've listed to follow here 7 of the 10 overriding design principles for our approach in Australia to determining effectiveness strategically. First and foremost, the public warning system must be non-discriminatory, accessible to, and reaches the vast majority, which we determine to be not less than 95% of mobile telephone users, regardless of their choice of device or network operator, and available equally to every citizen and international roamers. Second, to maximize the return on our investment, it had to be multi-purpose, what we call all hazards, all agencies. Third, if you have a mobile phone, then you are opted in automatically by simply switching on your handset. Only the subscriber can opt out, either by ignoring the alert or switching off their handset. 4, location and device data will be anonymized and aggregated so that we don't intrude unnecessarily into personal privacy. However, we retain the capability that when necessary lawfully, we could actively process the data in order to reach an individual when she or he is either at risk or poses a risk to others. 5, it must deliver an intrusive alert whereby the subscriber can, if they wish, set up their own ringtone and vibration cadence for alerts that come from the public warning system's identifier. 6, of vital importance to the emergency services incident controllers is the ability for the public warning system to provide them in near real time with data analytics critical to decisions to protect the public affected in the warning area. And I'll explain this in a bit more detail. And 7, in addition, the platform had to be scalable from the local to regional to nationwide. Also, it has to be expandable so we can add new features and thus be future-proofed. For us, it was about doing the right thing, not just the minimum technically. And I do hope national project teams will bear that in mind as they work through BEREC's guidelines.